My name's Russell Smythe. I'm Deputy Creative Director of Beatty Kazoo Advertising, which is an advertising agency with a stupid name, which lots of them have. Welcome to Award School. I met some of you the other night at the drink as many beers as you can in 2 hours before you have to pay for them party. I'll probably meet lots more of you over the next few weeks. First, a few rules. There is no eating, drinking or smoking in this lecture theatre, okay? Otherwise they will have us evicted, so please don't do that. Each night that the lectures are on, there will be videos of ads shown from 6 o'clock onwards, so feel free to come in and enjoy some of the best ads from around the world, okay? Congratulations on getting into Award School. I suppose not many of you had an inkling that you would be embarking on an attempt for a new career in the back streets of King's Cross, but you've done it, and it will be a very exciting 12 weeks. It'll be a very difficult 12 weeks if you put your all into it, which you should, because you've got there now. It's up to you to make the effort. Try and make all the tutorials, try and make all the lectures. We're quite strict about that. Over the next 12 weeks, you'll have lectures from some of the most senior people in advertising. That's one of the good things about Award. You're not doing a course where people who aren't actually working in the industry are trying to teach about it. All the people that will be speaking to you are people that are actually working in it today. So use the time well, pick their brains, annoy them, find out as much as you can, and really bust a gut to do well. There's probably some people here that don't know very much about advertising. There's probably a lot of you. I would hope that you don't feel like that maybe you shouldn't be here. Everyone who has passed to this stage has the ability to do well. A lot of famous people in advertising have come from a wide range of backgrounds. There's people here that have done graphic arts and that sort of thing. There's people that are working in advertising agencies at the moment. There's also school teachers and plumbers and people out of work. So all you need is to be able to grasp the concept of coming up with great ideas and turning them into something that people really want to empathise with. So tonight you'll be finding out the very basics of the advertising industry from our first speaker, Mark Detelliger. I apologise if for some people it's going over things that you know already, but what we need to do is assume there's a very low level of what you know about advertising, and then we'll go through things at a faster rate after this week. Each week, I think you've already got a lecture outline showing you what lectures are on each week. It'll be broken up into various topics, so that by the time you finish this 12 weeks, you'll actually have a basic grasp of the various things that writers and art directors do in advertising. I first met Cos Lucidi when he was one of my students in my tutorial in Award School. Since that time, that year he graduated as one of the top 10. He's had an amazing few years since then. I asked him to give me a list of some of the things that he's done since then, and there's awards galore. I won't read them all out because it'll embarrass him. Well, it won't embarrass him, but it's been quite a spectacular couple of years. What Cos will be doing is telling you a little bit about what he went through in Award School that year and showing some of the sorts of ads that have been successful in Award School. You'll get some idea of the standard that's been required in the past and which you have to beat this year, and you'll meet someone from advertising who's a really nice guy. Ladies and gentlemen, Cos Lucidi.
Thanks, bud. Hello. How is everyone? Cool. Cool. Hey, today's April Fool's, and it's the first night of Award. Kind of says it like, huh? I remember the first night of Award School, like 3 years ago, being intimidated by like 150 faces, not knowing anyone. So what I want everyone to do now is to introduce themselves to 5 people that I don't know. Go on, do it. Just introduce. Oh, I'll do it as well. I'm Cos. I'm Cos. How you doing? I'm Cos. I know you. I'm close. I mean, hey, you're mad. So that was pretty painless, wasn't it? Now I bet you no one remembers anyone's name, but hey. Okay, well I'll try to keep this short because I know everyone wants to get home to watch Millrose. Before I start, I just want to ask one question. Who's willing to come down here right now and take off all their clothes? One person. I just want one person to come down who's willing to take off all their clothes. No, before you start, come in.
Yep.
Why would you be willing to take off all your clothes?
Well, it's one of those crazy challenges that people throw out at you and you just know that you're going to be remembered by somebody. And I'm going to do it.
Okay, well I don't want you to do it, but...
So you're intimidated.
No, if it was someone else maybe, but no, listen. Take a look at this guy, because I can guarantee you'll probably finish in the top 10 with a mentality like that. Because taking off all your clothes and it's pretty much like a war school, because when you're presenting ideas to one another, it's kind of like, it's so personal, you're hoping to God they love it, so, and you just got to think yourself,
What school?
no, because it's down school. You just got to say to yourself, just don't be afraid of anything, just do it. And hopefully the next 12 weeks will help you guys out. Well, for all of you, award school will be a journey of discovery. You'll discover a lot about yourselves, how you work, and what stops you from getting what you want. Some of you will discover that advertising is fantastic, and for others, you'll simply discover you don't enjoy the process of writing ads. That's cool as well. Now, before I tell you what award school was for me, I asked a lot of my buddies who did award school before and after me what it was for them. And here's what they said, brutally and honestly. Award school is 12 weeks of bad sex and good drugs. Award school is about how to make advertising entertaining. Award school is only about single-minded ideas. It's 84 days of staring at a blank page until drops of blood form on your forehead. It's where originators succeed and imitators are hacked into tiny little pieces. It's understanding nothing is easy. Award school is not taking no for an answer. Award school is all about bloody-minded persistency. It's about insanely passionate people who cop blows to their ego week in, week out, but still love writing ads. Award school made me hate advertising. Award school is an entry into a new world. It's about being irreverent, always questioning, and never giving up. It's about talent, imagination, skepticism, and resilience. It's about being afraid of nothing. Award school was my first homosexual experience, but I got a job from it. That's actually... I didn't say that, but that's actually a true story. It's... I'm not naming names. Award school is believing there's always a better solution. It's not who you are, but it's who you want to be. Award school will make you realise the difference between a crap idea and a good idea. It's 12 weeks of broken sleep, reaching for a pad and a pen. It's about astounding, shocking, surprising yourself and those around you. It's about being an original thinker. Award school is only 12 weeks out of your life. Put everything on hold for those 12 weeks and set yourself up for life. It's about potential and passion. Award school opened my eyes to my potential. I had no idea I could work so hard, fly so high. I had no idea I could enjoy life so much. Award school is about learning how to entertain people with advertising. Well, for me, award school was all of that and more, except for the homosexual experience. Award school changed my life. It started a massive learning curve that hasn't stopped. It made me obsessed about advertising. It gave me a portfolio of work that made me employable, and it made me very, very, very happy. And now, with a lot of help from some amazing people, I'm still employed, I'm still extremely happy, and I'm still incredibly obsessed about advertising. I'm getting paid to create ads. How cool is that? It's fantastic. But I have to say, I'm not a natural when it comes to writing ads. And I've got to show this first slide. Okay. Can you see that? Yeah. As you can see with this first slide, my brain is the size of a pea, which means I have to work harder than anyone else. Now, I remember on graduation night, someone asked me why I think I got into the top 10. And I answered, well, it definitely wasn't because of talent. It was because I wanted it more than anyone. Simple as that. I convinced myself from the start that it was my goal to do well at award school. I knew my own creative talent needed work. Excuse me. Knew my own creative talent needed work, but I can also... Sorry. I knew my own creative talent needed work, and I lost where it was. But I was willing to do what it took. And I can guarantee you now that some of you in this room are more talented than me, but I can also guarantee that no one in this room is more relentless, ruthless, and unforgiving on themselves than I was. During award school, I allowed nothing to stand in my way. Curiosity became an obsession. I asked 1,000 questions. I wasn't afraid of looking and sounding like I didn't know anything, because I didn't. I was a complete lunatic, and I still am. Now, he didn't know it then, but when Einstein said that talent is 99% perspiration and 1% inspiration, he was talking about award school. Talent can be encouraged and nurtured, but if you haven't got that killer instinct from the start, then you'll be trodden on and left behind by those who have. And like Einstein, Dave Trott, an advertising guru, believed the same. He said that energy will always beat talent, because energy is working through lunch when talent is out to lunch getting drunk. Ultimately, that's true, because I've seen some talented friends who didn't last because they weren't persistent enough. So ask yourself now where you want to be in 12 weeks from now, and no matter your answer, award school will help you get there. Over the next 12 weeks, you'll meet some very, very clever and exceptional people. You've got Jane and Russell and Mark already tonight, but no one has all the answers. Ask them as many questions as you can, pick their brains. I did. They can make life easy for you. And also, don't start with an attitude, and don't think you're better than anyone else. Don't lose sight that we only write ads for a living. We're not rocket scientists. We don't split atoms. We only write ads. Be yourselves. You don't need a groupie ponytail to be in advertising, and you don't need to come from Mossman either. I should know, I live out west in a suburb called Greystanes. And for those of you who don't know where Greystanes is, it's kind of up here. Is that your focus? It's a cool place, Greystanes. Now, I remember Bob Isherwood, who was my first CD, he asked me where I lived, and I told him, and he kind of looked baffled, and I said, well, it's out west somewhere. And he goes, oh, God, I think I drove past on my way to the Blue Mountains. So, look, it doesn't matter who you are, just ditch the I'm too good for words sort of attitude, you won't last. Award school will help you to become a better lateral thinker, but you need a willingness to learn, and you need an imagination. Award school is not about showing you how to craft copy, nor is it about showing you how to become a better art director. It's all about showing you how to become a better ideas person. Ideas are the only things that matter. Primarily, I'm not employed as a writer. Sure, I can write copy, but my job is to think. I think of ideas, not just for ads, for anything, beer cans, street signs, whatever. And with the decline in accreditation, with the convergence of information technology and clients becoming more switched on, I think that traditional advertising agency structure as we know it would change dramatically. People's roles will change. There'll only be the technicians and the thinkers left, the doers and the makers, but that's another lecture. We're the thinkers, so don't get caught up in crafting your ads, just concentrate on thinking of the big idea. And talking about big ideas, I want to show you some of the work from the top students from the last couple of years, and you'll see what I mean about the big idea. This is for a cosmetics clinic. I think Belinda Johnson, who's now at Saatchi's, did. Which isn't bad, it's pretty good. This is also for cosmetic surgery, a television ad by Melissa, who's at George Pat's. This is from my year. It was a guy called Paul Camizelos did this, I think. This is also from Belinda last year. It was for 100% woolen jeans. The television ad. That's pretty good. This was Death by Chocolate on the stores. It's not a bad idea, it's a solid idea. This is great. For the clown school and agency. This is for Heineken, and the offer was buy 6 Heinekens and get 1 free. It's on by Belinda Rath, who's now at Lawrence, TBWA Lawrence. Yeah. Actually, she came in the top 10 and her sister won it the year that I did it. It's from Small Facts, also from my year, from, can't remember his name, forget. That's a really good idea. What's that for a light camera? That's actually the guy who created it. He took a photo. Pretty good. This for Yates compost, gives you stronger plants. Same brief. Someone else? Same brief. This was the girl who won it, Julie Rath. Great idea. Who's now at J. Walter Thompson. This was a Mitsubishi Nimbus, is the most spacious family car. It's pretty good. That's my one. The television ad for Mortein kills bugs and insects with just one spray. Basically, sound effects of Bugs Bunny doing the classic death choke, that continues. And then voiceover, Mortein kills, I can't read that from here, all sorts of bugs with just one spray. That's all, folks, just one spray. That's pretty good. I've seen that before. For Adidas, helps you makes you run faster. It's from Peter Sinicus in Melbourne. He's in Melbourne now, but he did a war school when I did it. Same brief. Same brief again. They're really good ideas, all different, but all really good. Same brief again. Same brief again. They're still good ads. The Sydney buses. But don't we all wish Sydney buses? Anyway, I'm not going to say that. Because they're one of our clients, so I shouldn't say anything. That's great. It's brilliant. I wish I had the name of the person. So I apologise if the person who did this will be seeing this video or whatever, because I can't remember the name of the person. That's really good as well. Any buses? So a Canberra foot warmer. It's a good idea. Like, it probably won't run, but it's a good idea. This is actually a billboard where the feet are actually burned out so you can see the sky. So, like, you can do stuff like that as well. Don't just think two-dimensionally. It's a television ad for Jump dog food, which is pretty good. It starts off where you think the puppy's around the mother walks away and she's actually around the bowl of dog food. It's really good. For Threadbow, more snowmaking. Sex in human, no, don't do that. That's great. That's for the Threadbow, the longer runs. It's a great idea. This is from the guy who won it 2 years ago, who's now in Brazil working, Nicholas Roudet. That's really good. Here's a television ad. Can you all read that? Okay. Baby plays happily in a sandpit. We hear the music box plays. Then suddenly smoke surrounds the baby. We hear sinister music. Camera pulls back and we see baby is actually in an ashtray. And then the voiceover, if you smoke, keep it away from your child's environment. Not bad. I think that's it. It's only a small indication of the standard of work you guys have got to do. Now, sure, some of them looked crafted, but all of them had an idea, and all of them could stand alone, no matter how they were presented or drawn up. So remember, the ads you write in the next 12 weeks don't need headlines, they don't need pictures, they don't need logos. They just need big, simple ideas. Finally, I want to share with you something that John Hegarty, who's the creative director of Bartle Burger Headley in London, told me last year. I asked him, why and how are you so damn brilliant? And he casually replied, because I choose to do so. Now I thought to myself, shit, yeah, of course. So just choose to do well at award school, and you will. Believe you can achieve greatness, and you can. Good luck. I'll be happy to help out anyone in the next 12 weeks. Just give me a call. If not, have fun. Make the most out of the next 2,016 hours, and make award school whatever you want it to be. Thanks for listening.
Capital cities, yes?
Yes, because I've done a course before, and I found that after I finished the course, I learned more once I was in that field. Do you find that happened to you, or did you find you learned more in the course?
No, absolutely. More with hands-on experience, and that's why it's really good that a part of this course is that you spend with an advertising agency, because you're dealing with people within the environment, and it's good for you guys to see that as well. So yeah, absolutely, you learn so much more when you're in the field. And like one of the points was before, you don't have to do awards school to get into advertising. It's not the only way. I know a guy who missed out the year that I did it, but still persevered, still knocked on doors, still hassled people, and 2 gold lions later and a countless bucket of awards, he's now working in London. So yeah, but to answer your question, yeah, absolutely, you learn much more when you're in an agency.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. There's a guy named Paul Hankinson who didn't get into award school about 8 years ago. So he just turned up to award school lectures anyway and pestered people, and at that stage security wasn't required outside. And he's now the creative director of an agency in Vancouver, only 8 years later. So he's been a huge gift. So it is all about persistence and just working hard, coming up with those ideas. Anything else?
Once you get into the creative side of things, a writer or an artist, do you generally just do that for a couple of years, or do you hang out with the creative director the next month? And in which case...
Some people have no desire to be a creative director. Unfortunately, when you end up a creative director of a large agency, you end up not creating a lot of ads. You spend your whole time supervising other people. Some people have no desire to do that, to have all the worries of other people's ideas as well. So some people just stay as creatives, writer and art director. And the distinctions between writers and art directors have sort of broken down over the last few years. There's an awful lot of art directors that are great writers and not so much vice versa. But the differences between the two have sort of blurred quite a bit. Sorry, there was another part to your...
I was just going to say, you don't tend to see any 50, 60-year-old writers or art directors getting out of that down like in a pub somewhere with their nose in something murky, or what happens to...
No, there's a lot of them out there. Not in Australia so much for some reason, but we were only talking about it the other day. It's a thing that in England and America there's a lot of older guys that are still writing. There's a lot of them in Australia. Yeah,
They tend to stay in the industry, they don't get burnt out after 10 or 20 years or whatever.
they just go and buy their third Ferrari and so on.
Let's talk like the vertical, like the film.
Yeah, there's a bit of that. Like for every writer in advertising, there's always a novel and a film inside. If you'd like to see my script, I'll just show you. Yes.
This is a question for Colin. What was your background before you did law school?
I did a design course, which probably had no bearing on anything because I'm pretty shit at graphic design. But it just happened by luck because I actually went for a job as a graphic designer at an ad agency, not knowing what writers and art directors do. And the creative director, who at the time was Simon Reynolds, should have put his name. Simon Reynolds had a look at my book and he said, "Do you want to do a war school?" And I said, "Look, I don't know what it is," and he kind of like helped me out, and I got in, and the rest is history. But yeah, I came from a graphic design background straight out of high school and bumped around a bit and kind of just stuck around.
Do you find that people who aren't from that sort of background, a lot of people here are like from design background or from that sort of field, something a bit more creative. Do you find that people who aren't from that type of background are more at a disadvantage?
No, absolutely
People
not.
who have studied before, like, do you think they've created a perception that they're not creative by not doing that sort of thing earlier on?
No, I think it comes from themselves though, because I know heaps of people who are in advertising now who are doing much better than me, who didn't do anything to do with design or art out of high school. Went to year 10, became electricians and plumbers. And I would actually wish my brother did graphic design. I have a twin brother who's a bricklayer by trade. And if he came into advertising, he'd probably write me under the table. He's a fantastic ideas person. So it doesn't matter what background.
There's a classic case of Ted Horton, who was actually a waiter in a restaurant and kept on having all these advertising people coming in to lunch. And he just went up to them and said, "What do you guys do? You know, you come into this expensive restaurant every day." And they said, "We work in advertising." He was like, "Well, how do I get in?"
And I was a science teacher, and we all know what an easy jump that is from science teaching to advertising. It's a natural progression. And the advertising is littered with stories like that. That's funny you mentioned bricklayer, because Paul Hankinson that I mentioned before that got into award school when they told him he couldn't be in it was a bricklayer, and now he's turned into this great creative guru in Canada. So any background at all, as long as you've got a mind and can have ideas, you don't... Art directors are usually not very good drawers. People say, oh, an art director, you must be a good drawer, but there's so many art directors that can't draw because that's a different sort of skill. But you'll find out more about that. Yes.
The slides that were put up, a lot of them were big, flashy ideas, but not a lot of copy at all. Was that a factor in the course, in the briefs that you submit?
We actually have one specific brief of the 10 that you'll do on copywriting. Ideas are the important thing out of this course, and it's very hard to suddenly teach someone how to write long copy. But there will be a lecture by Paul Fischler, who is probably one of Australia's most eminent copywriters, in a few weeks' time, and you'll be given a brief on that. But no, the writing isn't the important thing in this course. It's ideas, writing something that you can learn gradually later, but you can't really pick it up just in a lecture. Anything else? Yes?
When do we get our first break?
You'll get your first brief at your first tutorial. You won't have a tutorial this week. The first tutorial will be next week on Thursday. Next Tuesday's lecture will be here, and that's about posters. And then your first brief will be in the tutorial following that on the Thursday for a poster. And then you'll come back with that to your tutorial class the week after. Your tutors will go through your work each week with you and point out which ones are shit and which are fabulous. And it is a horrible, horrible thing to have to suddenly put up your work and say, basically what you're saying is, I think this is really good, what do the rest of you think? That's a really difficult thing to do. But that's what the job is, like every day of our lives. It's sort of walking into a room, whether it's in the agency or with a client, and there you are, and they want to spend $3 million on a television advertisement, and you're there showing them the idea and say, I think you should spend your $3 million on this, what do you think? And they go, yeah, that's fabulous, or no, that's shit. So that's the nature of the job, so you've got to get used to that. That's a nightmare.
Shall I put it to the workmate and look out? You get a chance to go rework it so you can have your look at me?
At the end, it's basically the last word is yours, so you decide, no, my tutor's an idiot, this is a fabulous ad. Which is probably not the right attitude to have, but you'll keep crafting it over the 12 weeks. No, you don't have to hand it in, that's your last chance at that ad or anything. And in fact, there's no briefs for the last 2 weeks, the last two tutorials, which is extremely difficult to say. In those last 2 weeks, your tutors will be helping you polish your group of ads so that they're as good as possible. Then at the end, we have a judging of everyone's work. Everyone puts in their portfolio, and we judge the sum total of your work. And at the end of awards school party, the best ads will be up on the wall, and the person who has the most ads up there is obviously the person who's come top of awards school. The whole thing gets marked, and that's how we decide who is in that top 10. Yes?
For the portfolio, is that only a question of our best work, or is that everything?
In the portfolio, it's everything that you've done. Yeah. As well, in each tutorial, there's some really quick little things that you'll do each week, but you don't need to put those in as well. They're just to get your mind ticking away after a long day that you've had doing other things. Yes?
Yeah, if they go through your ads and they don't really like any of them, do you come back and do them again and show them next week, or is that it for that?
Depends how arrogant you are. If you decide, no, I'm going to get these, but it's probably wise to have another go at it. And, but they won't just say, no, that's shit. They'll explain, that's not quite right, but maybe if you go down this road. So you'll be given advice and, yeah.
A lot of you might not get it till week 12. A lot of you may well sit in your tube groups and you'll see other people that are cracking it and you go, I'm not getting it, I'm not getting it. A lot of you might not get it until the last 3 weeks of the course, and then all of a sudden you'll rush back and go over all the briefs that you've done before. So don't be worried at what pace you're going at. There's going to be a time when it's going to hit and you're going to start actually really getting it. So
If it's week 12, worry.
And there's also going to be a lot of some briefs that you're going to crack just like that, and other ones that you're going to, really have to try hard on, and really crack and like Cos was saying, really work hard on them. Some of them are going to come straight away.
And that's the nature of our job every day. Some things just come so easily, and other things you spend like weeks on and you can't think of anything very good. But that doesn't happen to me, of course. Okay, that's all fun.
How do you control the fact that your ideas are going to be known by somebody else in the group if you're presenting to your tutor group?
Everyone's there and sees the idea at the same time.
Does it happen?
Sorry? No. We hunt them down and kill them.
Your tutors will actually be pushing the top books forward for judging. So not every book, because we did it last year, we had 150 books coming and we were blind at the end of it. So what we're doing this year is actually getting the tutors to put the top books in, so therefore they'll know who the ideas are, they'll know who's actually presented them. So if somebody else has snuck an idea into their book, the tutors are going to know that they weren't the ones that originally did it. So there's no need to worry. And you have to realise it was also for the collective unconscious. And, there are going to be times when some of you are going to have the same answers to a brief. There are going to be times when you're going to go up there and you're going to find that there's similar work up there. It happens to all of us in the industry. We'll present something and somebody will go, didn't you see that ad on air last night?
Yes.
The agencies that we've all been assigned, are these according to the brief interpretation, as in the style of that brief may suit a particular agency?
Everyone will be working on the same briefs.
So the one we submitted to actually getting and now we've been given agencies?
No. What we've tried to do is put people at 2 different types of agencies. In most cases you'll find you're at a fairly big sort of place and then a smaller creative hot shop. Okay, so to give you 2 experiences of different sorts of agencies. Yes, sir.
Another quick question for Cos. What side of the coin are you working on? Your art director side, copywriter side? Do you enjoy it?
Come on, guys.
Partner, do you like it, etc.?
I'm a writer, although my former creative director questioned that. I'm a writer and I work with the best art director in the world. She's my best friend, or one of my best friends, and I couldn't ask for a better art director. So I think the key for some of you guys is try to team up with someone. Don't get caught up on who's the art director, who's the writer, but just try to team up with someone in the next 12 weeks and just bounce ideas off. It's so cool to bounce ideas off one another, because an idea that you might think is great, I can show your partner will say it's crap, and you can do the same to him or her, get your own back. But to answer your question, I'm a writer and I work with an art director. She's a great art director.
Next.
Yes. Furthering that question, how do you find that synergy between you and the art director? Like, there's going to be times, obviously, like when you meet someone else that you mutually can't understand what's going on. And so for a young student like us, how do we align ourselves? And is it a matter of
It's
time?
extremely difficult even in your job to find someone, first of all, that's got the talent that you admire, that you want to work with, and then it's got to be someone that you want to be with all day. Like if you're married, you're with your art director writer longer than you're with your wife or husband, because you're there, you normally sit opposite each other at the desk and you see their head all day and you talk to them all day and you bounce ideas off each other. So it is hard to find someone that you just click with, and if you do find someone that you click with, hang on to them after award school and and go out looking for work together if you so desire. But you just got to find someone that thinks the same as you do, on your same sort of level, and it just works.
Like dating.
It is a bit like dating, except you should never date. No. Yes.
If you make somebody else in the group who does some good work, when it comes to submitting it at the end, do you have to put in the same idea?
Unfortunately, in this case, you've got to have your ideas and they've got to have their ideas. So, yeah, it's different ideas for different
But if
people.
you're working with two people, you should be able to come up with two ideas in each brief. So if you do actually team up with somebody, there's no reason on earth why you shouldn't be able to actually come up with two solutions to each brief and then split them. We do need to actually see your own work to be able to judge it, otherwise the top 10 wouldn't be fair.
But are you looking for single ideas or campaign ideas?
So,
Different things for different briefs. You'll be told with the brief whether you want to, is this one a poster or is it a press ad or a radio ad or a TV ad or a campaign of several ads?
however, it's a really good discipline to do campaigns on everything, and you'll actually find that a lot of your tips will demand that you campaign absolutely everything. It's easy to come up with a one-off ad. Actually coming up with strategic direction for 3 ads or more is actually proving your work a lot better. So you'll find that a lot of your tutors will say campaign it, show me 3, show me how this works. So.
Yes.
Is there a quota of books that the tutor feels that they need for the panel? For example,
If there's 5 fabulous people in one tutorial, then they'll all go through, yeah. No, there's not a, I'm sorry, only one contestant from each. Why semi-finalists? Yes, Venezuela. Oh, I'm sorry.
Humour seems to be a key to advertising. You got that there.
Humour is a part of a lot of award-winning ads and that sort of thing, and ads that I'm sure that all of us enjoy on television. There's a lot of humorous, successful ads, but it's basically anything that strikes a chord with people. So you can have an ad that just makes you cry, and it's still a very successful ad. So yeah, humour seems to be a big part of a lot of advertising, but it doesn't have to be a funny ad to be a successful or a good ad. Yeah. It was a particularly funny year last year. If you remember.
One more.
I'm sorry, you've had your quota.
Is there anything you can recommend to people who are working already in the advertising business, learn some basic rules?
Hopefully you will learn all those basic rules just from tutorials and that sort of thing. There's a book that I think you were, The Craft of Copywriting. I'd really avail myself of the resources at True to Force. Am I allowed to say that? There's a library there of award books and reels and books on advertising. It's just a wonderful place to go and just sit for a few hours and get your head around what advertising is all about. See some examples of some great work.
If you're going to do that though, can you ring up and tell them that you're coming, because you can imagine 150 of you turning up at the same time would be a little difficult. So just make an appointment and you can use the library anytime.
And that seems to be about it. Any other announcements we have to make today? Okay, so there's no tutorial this week, so the next time we see will be the lecture next week, and then your first tutorial will be Thursday of next week. I think we have some notes outside for people from tonight's lecture. Thank you very much. I'll see you next week.